This drip all on my body, soaking wet the signing. Looking like a walking lick, yeah, you can tell I'm grinding. Rolling back was full of loud, I can't hear nobody.
What's up, fuckers? Episode 26, The Beer Latte Show. I'm Steve.
I'm Nick.
Danielle.
And today we are chatting with Natalie Bear, and she has, I believe, some ghost stories from her childhood house.
Yeah. I lived there from the ages of, 12 to about 16.
Okay, so not too long, but long. Did you leave because of the fucking hauntings?
No, but
okay.
I assume we probably would have had to do that or something else. We talk about that all the time in my family. It's like, oh, well, we actually lost the house in the housing crash in 2008. But we always talk about how we probably would have left eventually anyway because of it all. So,
well, somebody else inherited it. That's scary.
They did. I have some stories about that too, because it's been sold many times since then.
Ah, okay. I was about to ask if you ever sent like a letter like, hey, I used to live there.
And
Are you fucking haunted or?
Yeah, I mean, I've definitely thought about that before because I know when we were still living, this was back in Orlando, in Florida. And so there were times where my parents would get nostalgic and want to just stop by the house and see if they're taking care of it or, whatnot. And I know we went by, it was a little bit after Christmas time, 1 year, shortly after we lost the house, and someone else had been living there for a few months, and we knew that. But when we drove by this time, there was rotting like jack-o'-lanterns on the porch and a bunch of Halloween stuff still up. And because we're nosy, we peeked in because no one was clearly there. And it appeared that they had just packed up real quick and just left the house. I mean, there was some stuff hanging on the walls still, like they hadn't fully moved out yet, but we've always kind of thought that was weird and never figured out what the story is behind that. But we always just, joked it was the ghosts.
I mean, you truly never know, I guess.
Yeah, but I've definitely been tempted to reach out and ask because it was pretty crazy there. And I imagine it hasn't slowed down much, but who knows?
So those were the people that moved out right after you or most recently?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. This was probably when we checked, maybe 2009, because we moved out to Washington in 2011. So I'm thinking it was around that time. And I know from friends who still live there that the house has been sold at least 2 more times after that.
Interesting.
Yeah, it could be housing market, could be ghost, never can tell.
I'm going to go ghost.
I'm going ghosts.
Okay, yeah, me too. That's where I'm at. It's more fun that way.
Well, actually, let's begin. When was the first time that you had experienced anything paranormal in the house?
Okay, so I'm going to try and make this as short as possible and not rant on too much. But we moved into this found this new neighborhood. It was called Avalon Park in Orlando, and it was a new subdivision that was being built from the ground up, basically. And they were adding on a new part of the subdivision. We were one of the first people to buy a plot there for a house. So my parents had it built, custom from the ground up. So it took about 2 years to build it, and we moved in, I believe it was August of 2003. And so we had, the timeline gets a little weird for me because I was young. It gets a little hazy, but I know that it was pretty much off the bat when I started noticing some weird stuff in the house. And it wasn't for maybe 6 months to a year before I actually brought it up in conversation with my dad, and who also said, hey, I've seen the same type of stuff that you had, and no one wanted to say anything because we didn't want to scare each other. But it was pretty much right away when we all started noticing weird things going on.
Now, when you say weird, like you're talking about things moving during the night or sounds?
So what the original conversation was about is, I know I sent you pictures of the layout, but I'll explain for people who don't have the photos. When you walk into the house, it's kind of a long hallway. There's a room on each side. There's a parlor on the left, a den on the right. You continue down the hallway, and then it opens up into this big living room that has the ceiling going all the way up to the second floor. So it's really open. And then there's a kitchen on the left. So in the living room, there is the sofa that was there, and it was facing towards the back wall, but out of the corner of your eye was the hallway towards the front door. And I would always notice that when I was watching TV, I would see what seemed like out of the corner of my eye, someone pacing back and forth, or a shadow figure in that hallway. And I kind of always brushed it off as tricks of the mind or whatever. But when I mentioned it to my dad, he actually had been seeing the same type of thing. I didn't describe it to him at first, so it wasn't one of those things like, oh yeah, totally, I've seen it too. But he described the same thing back to me. So that's how all this started. We would see shadows out of the corner of our eye around the house in multiple places, and then it just kind of escalated from that point.
That's funny because that's what Terry said about the out of the corner of your eye.
Oh yeah, that's a paranormal author we interviewed, and she was told, I think, by an investigator that I guess the spectrum that you're allowed or can see ghosts is basically somewhere in the corner of your eyes. Well, I don't know how the cones work or
Out of
something
your
like
peripheral.
that.
Yeah, something about the cones.
You know,
or
so
something.
they thought, or do think, I guess, that when you turn to look at it, it's not that they're disappeared, but you just can't see them anymore, which is scary to think about.
Yeah, that is scary to think about, but that would make a whole lot of sense considering they tend to disappear when you look, huh?
I don't know. I've never seen anything.
I'm happy for you.
No, actually, I probably
So your eyes
have,
don't work.
but also dismissed it.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely have always tended to do that. I don't believe in a lot of that stuff. I've always had a very scientific mind type of deal. And so I've always tried to explain it away. There's got to be an explanation. There's got to be something. But in this situation and situations I've had after, I absolutely can't explain it.
Now, what you said was really interesting. You said the house was newly constructed, like from the ground up, brand new.
Yep. Yeah, it was. And that was another interesting part. We've actually tried to look at the land, like maybe what it was. We've looked at old maps of the area to try and figure that out. And the best that we could come up with is, I know from recently when I looked it up, so the house backs up on this river called, I don't know if I'm pronouncing this right. I don't know if anyone does, but it's called the Econlocache River.
I
and
totally
behind,
heard that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's actually my favorite river.
Yeah.
It's your favorite. Yeah, I know. Everyone knows it. And right behind that is this big conservation area back there. And when they were turning this into a conservation area, they had found Native American burial mounds along this river of a tribe that was actually ended up genocided by the 1800s in Florida. So that's really the only type of history that I could get on that area at all. So
that's rather fucking important history.
Yeah.
as far as like, of why there could be ghosts. Because also that lady Terry, she lives on a farm, and she said where her house is situated was a common like walking path, I believe she said, for like Indians traveling for wintertime or some shit. And she has seen, friends have seen like Indians like just passing through her house.
Oh my gosh.
Like, I guess they're constantly like, I don't know, still walking the same path.
They're traveling.
Yeah, they're traveling, which is like weird as shit.
Oh my, yeah. I haven't seen anything like that before. That would freak me out for sure.
I mean, if you take a step back and you think, if it is what it is, then it's energy. And if energy is just traveling, why is that weird as shit?
Because it's your house.
Right, that's true.
You should learn to walk around.
Yeah.
That
It'd
and
be
like,
uncomfortable, but not weird as shit.
yeah, but like when I die, I also don't want to be doing the same routine I'm doing right now.
Yeah.
Like
Unless
if I
he's
die, wake up and
actually-
still go to work, like that sucks.
Right, but what if he's actually alive and dead at the same time? Like
Schrodinger's cat?
no, like a different dimension.
Oh. Right.
Oh, yeah.
Or it's just a loop of energy that we're seeing that just happened one time a long time ago.
I hope my loop of energy does something fun.
Yeah.
What do they call that? Residual haunting, I guess that would be called.
Yeah. So when you had the out of your corner of your eye thing and your father had as well, and once you guys compared notes, was it the same kind of thing? Same place, same area of the house?
Yeah, actually, it was in that same hallway at first. Yeah, that's the only place we would see it. I guess also around that time, and this is going to sound really strange because it is really strange, but I would see, I don't know how to really describe it other than at some point I had a ferret. Okay, follow me here. I know it's weird, but the way that they run downstairs, it's like this little like squiggly type thing when they do that. And I would see these weird shadows. It would almost look like a little shadow squiggling down the stairs also. My dad didn't see that, but one of my close friends did too. And it incredibly strange. I mean, I think that's even weirder than seeing like a shadow figure of a human is something like that. So it all started off with just small things like that.
So how many ferrets died in your possession?
I don't know. Only one that I know of previously, but I know that's a weird way to put it, but it's the only way that I could describe it in my mind back then.
Oh, so the ferret was deceased. And when you say followed you, you meant the spirit of the ferret, you think?
Oh, no. I was saying that that's the only way, because I had a ferret and the shadow kind of resembled how he would run down the stairs in my previous house.
Oh, okay. So he wasn't actually in that house.
No, it was just the only way that I really knew how to describe kind of what that looked like. That was the best way that I could describe it, or a snake slithering down the stairs.
Right. Oh, wow. That's creepy.
Yeah, it's very weird.
Did you get any kind of feeling, sensation, anything like that?
Yeah. So my bedroom was upstairs, and all of my brothers are grown and out of the house by the time I was, really young. Around maybe, I'm trying to think of the age gap now, but anyway, by the time I was like 6 or 7, all of my brothers were out of the house. So it was just me in the top floor of this really big house. And when I was going to bed, often I would feel like someone was in the room with me or staring at me. I would actually pull the covers, like kids do, up over their head because you feel like someone's staring at you and you don't want to be seen. But I kind of always thought maybe it was just because I'm in this new, really big house and I'm upstairs by myself. But it was something that I would feel all the time there for sure. And my parents and other friends that would come there would also, especially when they're alone, would feel something like that staring at them, or something's just there. It was a pretty common thing.
And you never said, hey, maybe I'll go in my parents' bed.
You know what? That's once we get into, I guess, the further stories. But there was one time that I was scared enough to try and run down there, but just once.
Oh, so you're kind of like paralyzed with fear. That's kind of how it is.
Yes, actually. And that the one night that I ended up running down there was like one of those things where you're like, I am so scared. I'm paralyzed, but I'm going to like count to 30 and just jump up and run.
Yeah.
And that's what I did that one time. I finally got up the nerve to do it that one time. But any other time, no, I just, went to sleep and got through it. And by the time I woke up the next day, I was like, oh, okay, nothing happened. So, do it again tomorrow, I guess.
So what was that one time that you were so scared, but, enough courage to run?
Okay. So at this point, we had been living in the house, I guess, for 1.5 years, maybe longer, maybe 2 years by this point. Anyway, a lot of things had escalated by this point, where I was regularly seeing full-bodied shadow figures, apparitions in the house. So things had gotten a little more intense. But this night I was laying in bed, and I always had the radio on just because I didn't like to hear the weird noises in the house at night. And I heard what sounded still like someone walking on carpet, that kind of sound that you can hear when people are shuffling across the carpet.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay. And I peeked up out of my blanket and was like, oh man, okay, well, it's not one of my parents. No one's in here. And I always slept with my door slightly cracked. And when I looked up, it was opening slowly.
Oh no.
And so I covered my head back up, and I could still hear like somebody was walking or pacing in my room. I'm getting like chills talking about it. And so I did that. I was so scared. I was like, okay, I counted to 30. I hopped up, ran out my door, and I was just barreling down the stairs. And the scariest part is I could hear like the thump behind me, like someone was running after me all the way down the stairs.
Oh shit. No.
And when
that.
yeah, I was terrified. And then I get to my parents' bedroom door, and it's locked.
What?
It's never locked, but this time their bedroom door is locked. And so I'm outside of this door. I'm like banging on their door. And, you just get this feeling that, okay, I was just chased down the stairs by something. You're like imagining it coming towards you, while you're waiting to get in this room. And so I'm banging on their door, and they finally open it and let me in. And I end up, of course, staying in there all night. But that was kind of the end of sleeping upstairs for me. After that, I pretty much was like, I'm not sleeping up there anymore. And I don't think I did very often after that, unless I had a friend over.
Hell no. I would actually leave the house forever.
Well, the friend is like the sacrifice. You trip them, you run, you're good.
Oh.
Yeah.
Right.
You don't have to.
Yeah,
be the
so there's
fastest,
always
you
someone
just
there
don't
to
wanna be
lead.
the slowest.
Right.
No. So, and I got the barreling down after that. So then they would just be behind me. So I figured I was good. But no, after that, I just stayed out on the sofa.
I like to think I'd be like calm enough to saw like the door starting to open, be like, dude, I ain't got time for this shit.
Yeah.
And just go to bed. I fucking work in the morning.
Yeah, like, I got things to do, man. Like, just leave me alone. There's like 2 other unoccupied rooms in this house.
yeah.
Go chill
See
in
the
there.
door just
Like,
shut. Just got him.
You're like, unlike
So-
you, I got a life to live.
I'm sure that would make it better.
So I have a question. Like, where is your mindset right then? I don't know. Like, what year was this? I'm only asking because was there some kind of like, were you thinking negative thoughts? Was there music that was like perhaps negative in your life, or anything like that?
I mean, at the time, I think it's kind of funny because I was like, 12, 13, and I was getting into I was a major metalhead in high school. I mean, I still kind of am. But that's like the period where I started listening to like a lot of black metal and, death metal stuff. So of course, like when I tell my parents, it's like this correlation thing, like they never said it, but I imagine now what it would have looked like, you're listening to all this devil music, and all this stuff is happening.
So what do you listen to? We're going, what years did we say? Like 2006 roughly at this time? So
Yeah, like 2005,
like Lamb of
2006, something
God,
like
Devil
that.
Driver. Like, what are you listening to here?
Absolutely. Lamb of God, Devil Driver, Cradle of Filth, King Diamond.
Okay. That I have to stop you there. I'm asking you for a specific reason, and shit happened to me when I was younger, and I listened to King Diamond. And I can tell you one thing: when I burned his shit, that was it. It didn't happen anymore. That's so funny that you say that. It is so weird.
Yeah, that's super weird. And I
She's
like,
it was funny. Be right back. You hear a fucking fire going.
I do have a fireplace, so good timing. Yeah.
I mean, like my bed was like I would wake up to my bed being shaken from the bottom, like that kind of shit.
Oh my God.
And it was when he was kind of popular too. Like I'm obviously a little bit older than you, but it was when like Grandma Welcome Home was out. Like that was popular at the time, and Abigail and all that.
Yeah, I
that's
love
funny.
Abigail.
That's so funny. Sorry, I didn't mean to.
Yeah, no,
but that's specifically why I asked.
No, that's super interesting. It's cool that you also listened to King Diamond.
Yeah.
So
Also a metalhead when I was younger.
yeah, I mean, that's awesome. And I guess actually, since you asked the whole negativity thing, I started dating my first boyfriend when I was 14. And he was good in the beginning, but as time went on, he became this very kind of negative figure in my life. We were together for, pretty much all through high school. But he was very emotionally, verbally abusive and stuff like that. So part of me has often thought that maybe that had something to do with it, with dealing with that at the time, because experiences kind of continued on, even after we left the house, not to the same degree, but there's definitely been times where I thought maybe that had something to do with it, or at least exacerbated the problem.
Now, when you guys left, were you still with this boy?
I was, unfortunately. It's hard to admit, but when you're young, you don't realize these things as really being what they are. I guess I didn't, at least until I got older and I realized that this was abusive behavior. But so I was with him for 3 or 4 years. So a couple of years after we moved out of the house.
Right. And to clarify, he's listening to like Fall Out Boy and stuff like that. He's a little bit like a punk, right?
Oh my God. Back then I was such a snob, a metal snob. If someone said they listened to Fall Out Boy, I would just laugh in their face. It would be over. You listen to Fall Out Boy? How lame. How lame are you? So absolutely not. I mean, he was kind of into the same type of thing as me. We were like in a death metal band together in high school and all that good stuff. So same
cool.
kind of deal.
Cool, but
So he's dressing up like the dudes from like Guar and shit
Oh,
for Halloween.
We went together to see Guar a few times, but it wasn't that serious. I know in freshman year, it was like, Hot Topic chain pants and whatever, all the cool kids were doing. but nothing like that.
What color was your mohawk?
No mohawk. My parents wouldn't allow that. That's for sure.
Oh,
but
okay,
I tried every little thing I could to look edgy, you know.
After you never slept upstairs again.
Yeah. I mean, let's see. There's a few things that happened before that I'll kind of get into too, because I don't want to move on and forget those before I go. But go forward, I mean. But the whole escalation part is, it started out with the out of the corner of your eyes thing. And then it started going to noises. So we would hear at night, and we actually ended up getting this on camera, but you could hear like something was being dragged. Or you could hear dishes in the cabinets moving around, kind of almost like someone was putting away dishes. And so that started. And then soon after that, we had a corgi at the time. She was pretty young. And she would sleep in my parents' room. And they would wake up sometimes with her just barking at their bathroom door. And a couple of nights it woke them up, and they would hear something like almost like the toilet seat slam down, or a door would slam in their bathroom, and she would just be barking at it. Or she would growl at things that weren't there. So that's kind of what happened then. And then it got to the point where I would come home sometimes. And like I said, this living room, it was open format. So the ceiling went all the way up, and you could see up the stairwell. And I remember there was a few times I came in and I would look upstairs because I would feel something up there, and it would look like you could see a full shadow outline of a person. It looked like they were crouched down, peeking over the side of the stairs as if to see like who just came in the house, and as soon as you would look, it would like pop away real quick, like it didn't want to be seen. So that's
still
the kind
enter. That's pretty brave.
Yeah. And so I think when you live in a place like that, you just kind of end up brushing it off, or just trying to you get used to it after a while, as weird as that sounds. But yeah, that's the type of stuff leading up to it. And there were, I would say there were 3 total, I believe, were different entities that were there. Because there was the one that I would see that was more shaped like a person, shadow figure, that would always hide, like it would pop out and then hide real quick. And then there's another shadow figure that we all have seen, that's kind of like this big foreboding shadow without much of a form, that would be more scary feeling, like more threatening. And then the other one was this that I only saw once, was a white apparition of a woman that I saw once that wasn't scary at all. So there were 3 different type of manifestations, I guess, in that house. That I saw to that point.
The white apparition, not scary at all. Not even a little bit.
No.
Not even the fact that she's not there.
Oh, she was there.
Yeah, not nearly as, I guess, as scary as the other ones. I think maybe the only time I saw her, I was a little bit in shock, because my friend Melissa was there, and she was downstairs doing something. And I had been upstairs, and I came down. And as I was coming down the stairs, I see this figure of a woman walking forward from the bottom of the stairs, kind of into what was the laundry room. And for some reason, like when your brain sees something like that, you're like, you don't process it right away. So I was like, yelled for my friend, and this figure turned around as if to look at me, and then turned right around and just disappeared into the laundry room. And I was like, oh my God, that's some crazy shit. But it didn't really scare me as much as the other ones did.
Now, at first you kind of brushed it off, but when did it really start getting like serious? When you started seeing all 3, or?
Yeah, I mean, when I started seeing them, and then other people started seeing them, and it got to the point like that I was chased out of my room. That's the point. I'm like, okay, like this is real. This house is definitely haunted by something. Like this is a pretty serious thing here. So after that, no, I definitely didn't brush it off anymore. It was just kind of something that we all knew was going on and just lived with at that point.
And you said that you had gotten something something was dragging on the floor, and you said you got that on video, or?
We did actually. So when I started sleeping on the couch, I guess my parents we're like, man, this really is super serious if she's too scared to sleep up in her own room. And after all this stuff has happened, so they set up the little camera night vision overnight. And I was sleeping down there on the sofa as it was filming, and you couldn't see anything, but you could hear, like I said, like something was being dragged along the floor, or, dishes would be clanking around or something like that while I was asleep. So yeah, we got that on video. I actually tried to get it out at my parents' house, but I couldn't find it in the garage full of stuff that we've moved around over the years, but I did try. It would have been really cool to get that.
So what did it look like on camera? Or did you just hear the sound?
You could just hear the sound. We never caught it on camera at all, unfortunately.
Still scary as shit.
Yeah. So, after I started sleeping down on the couch, that's when I think things even these entities, whatever they are, started bothering other people too, more so after that. I don't know if it because I wasn't up there to get picked on or what it was, but I know it was one of my birthdays or something, and a bunch of girls were sleeping over. So we were all sleeping on like sleeping bags in the living room. And we had been talking about it earlier, like, I wonder what it is. Or, and my friend goes, I wonder if it's like, Native Americans, since we know the history somewhat of this place and Florida in general, horrible things happen there just like everywhere else. So I wonder if that's it. And we were down there maybe for another hour, and my friend looked up and she just had this look on her face. And then she just started screaming and breaking down, crying, and she was rocking back and forth and just totally freaking out, hysterical. So my parents ran out and were like, what's going on? And she said she saw a really scary shadow figure standing up at the top of the stairs, shaking its head no at her.
Oh.
And she was so terrified that her mom had to come pick her up at like midnight. Because she refused to ever go back to the house again after that, but she was losing it.
God.
Yeah, so that happened. And then my brother, Scotty, came to visit from out of state, and he knew the stories kind of, but he was like, no, whatever, brushed it off like I did. And he slept in my room one night. Well, I was on the sofa, and I've always been kind of a night owl, so I'm up all night watching TV when I was a teenager. And I look up and I start noticing that I think I'm seeing one of the figures like sticking its head out of my bedroom door. And as soon as I look, it disappears. But I saw this multiple times in a row, as if like it was watching me. And when I'd look up, it would poke back into the room. And so I was like, okay, that's weird. Maybe this time it's actually my eyes playing tricks on me for some reason. And it wasn't too much longer after that my brother looked pale and terrified, and he come running out of my room just like I did previously. And it was 5 a.m. and he was running down the stairs, and he was shooken up really bad. And we asked him what happened, and he said that he was asleep and he woke up and heard something, and then he felt a hand grab his ankle and yank him.
Oh my God.
In that room. So that started, the kind of thing started happening after that. And I think that was really scary for everyone, because none of us had really been like touched or grabbed by anything, just him.
That is so strange. I wonder if it had anything to do with just the personalities, or what you would allow, or I wonder why.
Yeah, I know. I thought that was interesting. I don't know, part of me was like, well, is it because like that's supposed to be my room and all my stuff is up there, and someone else is sleeping in my bed? Like, I don't know why it would have happened like that, but he was
a nicer way to
really
look at things.
Terrified.
So that's a nicer way to look at things. He's helping you out.
Yeah, you try and think of all the good things it could possibly be. Instead of like, it just wanted the room to itself so it could stay in there and be evil, But
stay in there and be evil.
Conjure up some other stuff to terrify us with.
Now, did you have anything like objects like move?
No, there was no objects that moved. I know there would be a lot of instances where you put something somewhere and then you would find it somewhere else later.
That's
where you're like, how did this get here? But it was mostly my parents that it happened to. And so, of course, I'm like, oh, you guys are just, old and you're forgetting stuff.
No, what happens is like, the husband puts something and the wife fucking moves it.
Yeah. But yeah, and that's exactly what would happen, because my mom's always just like constantly cleaning and moving stuff around when she's not working, so that's what we always just kind of. Yeah, that's what my dad would say. I bet mom moved it when she was cleaning and forgot.
Sounds just like me.
I feel like you're transferring, Steve. Just sit back and listen to the story.
He told me that in advance so that I could make a jab. But no, the only thing that we ever saw that was like anything moving or anything by itself that we all saw that couldn't be explained off was we were all sitting in the living room watching a movie, and we had one of those like floor lamps where you click the knob to turn it off. And we were sitting there and the light just goes out. And so we're like, oh, obviously the light, the light bulb went out or something like that. And we go over there and click it back on. It's fine. Does it one more time. Turn it back on. It's fine. So with that, we were definitely like, okay, something's just messing with us at this point. But that's the only thing I can remember of anything moving or turning off or anything like that.
That's still enough.
It's definitely enough. Yeah. So I was trying to think of anything else, but it just kind of went on like that the whole time. And it was every single day. It wasn't like, some of these stories people have where it's like, oh, once every now and then, or it'll go away for a while, but it just continued to get worse and worse.
So basically driving you out of the house.
Yeah. And I mean, that's what it felt like. And then this whole, the housing crash came and the interest rates went up, and, my parents couldn't afford the house anymore. It was like so many things just kind of fell into place where that happened. I think my dad got like a shoulder injury working and was off for a while. And it was just like, multiple kind of negative things that led up to losing the house. Which seemed kind of like an inevitable thing. But yeah, I mean, otherwise, I think that even if that didn't happen, we would have ended up being pushed out of the house anyways, because we were also kind of scared there at the end. And after we had moved out, the house was completely empty for quite some time. And my brother and my ex-boyfriend and I actually drove by the house because it was just this whole, it's your super haunted house. It's creepy. Let's go check it out. And my brother parked out front and had the radio on while we ran around the back to the big sliding door where you could see through to the whole house, basically. And we were peeking in, and, we really couldn't tell. It was so dark if there's shadow figures or what. I mean, nothing. And my brother calls me on the phone and is like, we have to go right now. We need to leave. And I asked him why. And he said he had his radio on, and he heard something basically come through the radio and say, get out.
No.
Or go away. Something like that. And so he was like, we're leaving right now. Like, we're not coming back here. And so, yeah, there was that. And with me, I'm like, yeah, I've seen some stuff, but stuff coming through the radio and talking to you just kind of seems kind of poltergeisty and like movie type stuff that doesn't actually happen in real life. But he swears that it happened, and he never took us back there. That's for sure.
Was he So you ever see like a movie where like the radio will turn and like it's a whole bunch of different like radio signals, but saying like one particular thing? Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly.
Kind of like that, or?
He didn't describe it too much, and I didn't ask too much because he seemed so freaked out. But the way that he originally described it is it kind of got a little bit staticky, like you're losing the radio signal.
Oh, okay.
And he could kind of hear a voice coming through that was like a man's voice saying, get out or go away. I can't actually remember which one it was now, but it was one of the two.
Oh, shit. Did you guys know your neighbors at the time?
Yeah, somewhat. It's strange. I don't know if it's like this everywhere, but I know in a lot of neighborhoods in Florida, a lot of people, there wasn't much like neighborly love going on. Everyone just kind of kept to themselves a little bit. But we knew the neighbors somewhat. And I think that my parents had asked one of them if they had weird stuff happen in their house, and they said no at the time. But I know also it's not likely that a lot of adults want to admit to someone that they've seen weird stuff in their house. It's kind of like weird and embarrassing for some people because they don't want people to think they're crazy or something. So who knows? But everyone that we know denied having anything going on around there.
Now, before you guys moved to the house, did any of you ever have any kind of like sightings or sounds or anything like that you know of?
I mean, I know that like in my dad's childhood, they lived in a house in Owensboro, Kentucky, where my whole family is from. And it was an old house that had been built on a site where they claimed they moved the graves, but we all kind of just think they left them there. Classic.
Oh, definitely poltergeisty.
Yes, definitely. But it was this little really old house. And there was stuff that happened there that the house was definitely haunted. There's like family stories from way back. But at the time, we had never had any type of experience like that at all at our previous apartments at all. So yeah, this was, as far as I know, the first time we had all experienced something quite like that.
I just trying to imagine someone be like selling something like, hey, just so you know, we totally moved the graves. And you're like, what?
Excuse me?
Like, I got to go. Someone's calling. Someone's calling.
I gotta go.
Well, no, we think that they left some of the graves over there, down the way.
And for you, that is,
They built
there's a row that goes basically to grave sites on both sides. So we like to think that they just paved right over those bitches. Because there's,
that's what I would assume.
Yeah, there's some super, super old ones in there.
Yeah, but also that brand new development, or not development, that brand new building that went next to it.
Yeah, they probably paved over some of that shit. I feel like they fixed some of them too.
Yeah.
Like, oops, knocked you
Doesn't
over.
seem right.
Yeah, it's okay. We'll just put a new one there. Yeah, I don't trust them to actually, something like that when they're making a road or they're trying to build houses on it or something. I mean, maybe I'm kind of a negative Nancy, but I kind of feel like those people are just there to make money. They don't really care about all the graves underneath. Like, why would they even bother paying to have all that exhumed when they can just like take out the headstone and build on top of it,
I'd be so fearful of like, fuck, I'm getting haunted now. Found a gravesite. Like, I wouldn't want to just move shit.
There is always a lot of traffic in that one area. Maybe it's because of they just plowed right over it.
Yeah. Just stick a road right here. They won't mind.
Yeah, it's like a 4-lane, like little divot there. Anyway, I digress.
Oh, that's really weird to have gravestones on either side of the road like that.
Yeah,
So
they're
I
not
would
just
definitely-
like,
Yeah, like the church
they're not
is
like
on
pushed
one
back.
side. Yeah.
Or like, oh, they just had both pieces of land. Like, they're like right on the road.
Well, it's so old that the church itself isn't even a church any longer. It's funny story. It's actually a pest supply company or something. What is it?
That is so weird.
Pest
That is
control.
Pest control, whatever. But
that is the weirdest use of an old church I've probably ever heard of.
Yeah, it's kind of sad. They should have put something better in there, but they didn't.
I mean, unless they have no pests there, then it's like a testament to what they can do. Because it's old.
There you go.
Yeah, you think ghosts count as pests? Do you think they like with the church haunted too? And they were like, well, we could get rid of the ghosts here. We could get rid of any mouse problem there.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're like undercover Ghostbusters, just like doing pesticide on their main day.
It's like the ghost hunters where they're actually like
fucking
roto-rooters.
Yeah.
Oh, totally. It's kind of the vibe I was thinking too. It's awesome.
And today, back in the house is Berlin Brewing. We have 3 beers from them. And first up is Long A Comin', which is an English IPA, 7%. Doesn't smell too fruity.
I like it.
Super hoppy.
Yeah, it's more on the hoppy side than the fruity side
I fucking
of
like
an
it.
IPA.
Are you happy?
I'm so happy right now.
I'm happy with it.
We need shirts that says the Beer Latte Show on the back or something in the French smiley face. I'm happy. So this one is super hoppy, super delicious, big fan. But Danielle, what are you putting it at for your 1 to 10 hop scale?
I'll do an 8.5. It's pretty good.
Oh, you like it a lot?
I
Like
do.
a lot?
Yeah.
A lot. Okay.
Like, I don't know what
You
I
like
would
it a
pair
lot?
it with. I like it a lot.
Okay.
All right. I just want to be clear.
Yeah. But if you're wondering if I liked it or not, I do.
Oh, okay, good. And Nick, what are you thinking?
I'm at a 7.3.
Okay. I was thinking like 7.9.
7.9, not bad.
You know, I don't know exactly, to be honest, what an English IPA is, but I like it
A lot.
a lot. Like it a lot. Next up, we have Strawberry Field of Dreams, which is also 7%. Mine's still hazy. Smells like strawberries.
That fooled me. I kind of like it.
You thought it was going to be shitty?
No, from the smell, it doesn't smell the way it tastes.
Let me try.
So it's actually pretty darn good. I
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Don't taste like beer to me, actually.
Yeah, no, it tastes refreshing, like fresh.
Yeah.
I don't know how to explain it.
Like strawberry juice.
Yeah, but really mildly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
No, yeah, it like you smell the strawberry and the smell's almost really strong, but the taste is almost just like a hint of strawberry.
Yeah.
Yeah, like kind of
Like a
just
refresher.
lingering on me.
Yeah.
You know, Pat the Brewer said that it's a strawberry rhubarb, wheat beer?
I could see that it's got rhubarb in it.
Right, and he's saying it's coming through slightly heavier on the rhubarb this time.
Yep. Yeah. I was thinking, what's that taste? Like a pie, like the strawberry rhubarb pie.
Right.
Rhubarb.
More like what's a wheat beer? WITBIER. What the fuck are you? Well, you can Google it later, or someone could actually respond to us and tell us what it is.
Whatever it is, it's delicious.
I actually like it a lot.
Yeah, it's totally different.
It's a little bit lighter too, but not too light.
That's a dessert beer, faux show.
Yeah. Again, like it's like fruity, but not overly fruity. Where like it might like people with sensitive stomachs, it might hurt them. This doesn't.
Yeah.
But it's also not like heavy on beer for people that don't like beer. You could drink this and be like you're just drinking something nice.
Yeah,
It's
something
very,
bubbly.
very,
It's like
I don't know.
it's like the champagne of beer. And you
Maybe.
know how I am with champagne.
Right, so you're
I
going
love
to
you,
throw this up
but-
soon?
No, I love champagne. It doesn't love me back, but no, this is good.
Well, on your scale of 1 to 10 hops for something I'm not too sure where to put it category-wise,
Yeah.
what are you gonna do?
Oh, okay. So I'll go 8-9 because it's so different.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hear that, Pat? 8-9.
Yeah.
That's intense.
Right? It's different.
No, your score's at 10s.
Oh, okay. Thought you were agreeing with me.
I don't know where I'm at just yet. Nick, where are you at?
8.5. 8.5.
I don't know. I'm going to go 8-7. I'm going to average you guys out.
Wow. Can't be your own guy.
No, that's just, well, 8-7, what the fuck? No, I think 8-7's fair. This is super different. It does throw you off from the smell. I thought it'd be fruitier, but I'm happy it's not.
Yeah. It's like really refreshing too.
Yeah, it's actually really good. Like, big fan.
Yeah, I'm enjoying this.
And then last but not least, we have Sense and Subtle Sour.
Wait, just before you go any further, it says that wit beer is a style of flavored wheat. Wits employ a proportion of unmalted wheat in the mash, but also have flavor added to the form of Caraco orange peel. I can't read because I have a terrible headache right now. And coriander, among other ingredients. Their appearance is marked by a hazy white precipitate, and these beers generally have some sedimentation, which it does.
Ah, that's what's lingering or was lingering at the, still there, at the bottom of the barrel here.
Yeah. I want to get like more of these. These are actually pretty darn good.
Yeah, like I said, it's different. I don't know if it's my Field of Dreams, but it's good.
Field of Dreams, is that what it's called?
Strawberry Field of Dreams.
Oh, yeah.
And then last but not least, Sense and Subtle Sour. 6.8%. Smells sour. I'm a little nervous. Honestly, not the biggest fan of the smell, but I haven't really been a fan of any smell of any sour.
Sours do have a very like pungent smell to them.
Wow.
And taste.
Why did I not sense the fact that...
Oh, it's lingering.
Why, Nick? I was looking for him because he took a first sip. And I thought maybe I'd see it on his face. And then I was like, oh, it's probably not sour at all. So I took a bigger swig than I wanted to.
It's sour.
Yeah.
I don't know what flavors are in there by any means.
I'm going to have to go back in.
I'm not sure where it should be, but I do know it's sour. But not as sour as
it's not strong
previous
sour.
ones, but it's certainly,
No, that's sour.
I'm going to say it is top 3
Yeah.
sours for
Yeah,
sourness.
I'd say. Well, Nick, you're
Which is
used
hard to say
sours. We're not.
because by top 3, anything under these top 3 were not sour at all.
Yeah.
So it's
Right,
I'm calling it top 3, but they're still fucking sour.
Yeah, but to me, I'm drinking this, and to me, it's a doable sour. Like,
Oh, no, yeah, I'm not saying it's not doable, but as far as the sours go, when you're kind of like tasting it and it's like not there for you, but this is there.
yeah, this
Yeah.
one does hit exactly where you want sour to hit, and it has a great taste to it.
Ooh, I'm going to have to find out what this is because on their beer list, the Sense and Subtle Sours can either be watermelon, prickly pear, or passion fruit / pomegranates. And
Let's
I
try
can't
to
figure out
determine.
any of them to match this one.
I don't know what a pear tastes like, so I can't go based off of that.
Wait, what are
Prickly
they?
pear
This is
like
definitely
a
not
cactus
watermelon.
looking. Yeah. So skipping watermelon.
Watermelon.
Unless it's fermented watermelon, then I could like.
You have
totally...
the option of prickly pear or passion fruit pomegranate.
I think watermelon.
This isn't passion fruit.
So we're thinking potentially
maybe
prickly
even-
pear.
No, maybe watermelon.
No, fuck prickly pear. I'm going watermelon.
We just said it wasn't fucking watermelon. Liar.
No, I'm kind of changing my mind. Like maybe watermelon hitting its due date, but I don't know what like
turning sour?
prickly pear is. So it's not fair. Redo.
I only think I've had a regular pear in my life.
Ooh, wait. Looks like on July 30th, they had the prickly pear sour come out. So it could be that one because it is only August something. 10th.
Yeah, maybe because we don't know.
So it might be prickly pear.
Either way, it's pretty decent.
Even if it was any other flavors, like any other sours that are actually sour, I don't taste a fucking flavor. It's just sour.
The sour hits you.
It's just so fucking sour. And I'm not upset about it.
Yeah, I know you like that.
I think, though, sours, it's also something you just got to get into. Like, in the beginning, when you first have sours, it will just be the sour hit. But after a while, you will start tasting the other things. Like, to me, with IPAs, it was the same way. To me, all I tasted was just always hoppy. No fruit ever came through. It was just like always like this intense hoppiness taste. But after having enough IPAs, I can taste more. And I think sours are the same way for me. Like at the beginning, yeah, I drank them because they hurt and I like the pain. I'm a
Take two.
What is that? I'm a sadist in my mouth.
Oh my God, this is getting worse.
He's like, the same reason I like to be spanked when I'm fucking, but, like, I just like the pain.
Yeah, I want to be spanked in my mouth.
Okay. I'm quitting.
Jesus Christ. If you want to get spanked in the fucking mouth.
On a scale of 1 to 10.
Yeah. How many spanks is this?
Oh my God, I'm out.
Nope. Just sour.
It's really good. I enjoy this.
To be fair, I'm not sure what a prickly pear, which is apparently cactus-like fruit, tastes like.
Yeah, I haven't eaten any of those.
I know what they are. Just never had one.
Oh, that's a picture of one.
Yeah.
The
that
red
is
thing?
one. Yeah.
I guess. I guess that's the insides. It just looks fucking sour.
I've never seen the inside, actually.
That looks like brains.
Is that the pit?
I don't know. It's fucking scary looking.
Oh, no, that's a whole nother one.
Oh, yeah. See, they're half.
That's cool.
Well, Danielle, on your sour scale of 1 to 10 hops, where you at?
I'm going to go high because normally, like I said, we don't really get the sour. So I'm going to go with 8.5.
You liking that number tonight?
Yeah, yeah, I think we had a good round of beers here, actually.
All right. Nick, what are you thinking?
8.8.
Okay. All right. I'm going to be somewhere, not so much somewhere, but exactly at 8.3. I'm happy with it. It's certainly sour. Certainly smacks my jaw.
Yeah, I like when they live up to the sound, to what it's actually supposed to be.
Yeah, when you have a sour and it's just like fucking a waste of time, you're like, this is stupid.
Yeah. And
that is Berlin Brewing. You can find them at Berlin Brewing on Instagram or berlinbrewco.com. And as always, you guys can find us at thebeerlatteshow.com and Beer Latte Show on Instagram and Facebook and Beer Latte on Twitter. So I'm fairly obvious I know this question, or the answer to this question, but would you rather be visited by ghosts or an alien?
I think definitely ghosts.
Wow. That was way fucking off.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I know the answer.
Yeah,
I thought she was going alien.
Yeah, already been haunted. Get something new.
No, already been haunted, doesn't want to fucking deal with that shit. What's wrong with you?
No, see, I would rather the ghost because I don't know about you guys, but my parents and I would watch like Unsolved Mysteries when I was a kid, and the alien episodes fucked me up like bad. So I was scared of aliens a lot because of that show, and I think that's something that just kind of stuck with me. I'm like, oh man, there's definitely got to be aliens somewhere out there. You know, we can't be the only ones, but at the same time, I don't want to be visited by them.
Yeah, I don't want them in my living room either. I mean,
no,
they might be like slimy too. They look like they would be.
I mean, we don't know that.
Yeah.
we don't know that, but oh my God, you should just include the black-eyed children too. Would you rather?
Well, see, I don't know anything about those.
Oh, neither do I, but it's some scary shit. I've been watching a podcast about them.
You say that, I just go to like Children of the Corn.
That's what I thought of too when she said it.
No, these are just kids with either like, it looks like they have hollowed out eyes and they're black. And then they show up at people's houses, or they ask to be let in the house or let in the car, but they wear like, I don't know, like 1800s clothing. It's so strange.
Fuck, I'm getting a Ring doorbell. That way I don't have to answer that shit because he's there.
I don't want to see it.
Yeah, but then if he's there, you don't open the door.
Yeah, well, typically the people who have had these experiences don't open the door. So.
Right. I don't like opening the door for anybody.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, it's 2020. Who's knocking on the door?
Right, they'll go away.
They should have texted me first.
Yeah. If I didn't get a text or phone call, I'm not opening the door. I don't know who you are. I don't trust you.
What a super weird culture. Well, let's get back to the whole King Diamond thing.
Let's do it.
I'm only interested because of what I mentioned. I was going through, I guess, like, you know, the whole death metal, like Slayer, you know, whatever. But yeah, so my bed, like I would wake up to my bed shaking, like my bed was shaking me awake, that kind of thing. And then there was all these different scary experiences. And then in one instance, my friend at the time, she took my King Diamond because she thought that's what it was, because she was like this Greek Orthodox. She was totally into like God and all this stuff. And here I was just like searching like Eckankar and, you know, all theology and what have you. But she's like, no, it's got to be this King Diamond. He's like a devil worshiper. So she takes it and she smashes it. So that's what she does. She smashes it. And then at that very moment, what do you call those things that carry sick people? Ambulance.
Wow. Wow.
An ambulance.
It's like racking my brain.
An ambulance went off right
Gurney.
by us. So then weeks later, nothing was changing. So my boyfriend at the time took a garbage can lid, like a metal one, and took the rest of my King Diamond stuff, you know, all this other stuff, all this Eckankar stuff, which is just like another religion, and all these other pamphlets that I was looking into. We bring them into the woods, and I thought to myself, wouldn't it be cool if by the last embers some kind of sign would happen, like a sign, like maybe, I don't know, some kind of great sign, because the sign happened with the ambulance the time before. And wouldn't you know, church bells went off at the very last embers. I'm like, whoa, that's fucked up. I mean, clearly church bells go off all the time, but.
Yeah. And then timing though.
Yeah. And then after that, it hadn't happened, that I can think of. The whole shaking of the bed shit. But yeah, that's why I asked you. That's so funny and weird at the same time. Because it wouldn't have been in your era, you know? King Diamond was probably geriatric patient.
Oh my gosh, no. It's like 80s, you know?
Oh, okay.
I mean, it can also just be
I don't consider that geriatric patient.
I mean, that just could just be your mindset.
What do you mean?
You did that, and then you had your sign, which was, you know, came at fucking, it was like 1 o'clock, so the church bell went off, and you chose to decide that is, you're good, you're clean, everything's over, and maybe you just blocked it out.
How do you block out your bed from shaking you awake?
Because you decided that they're all gone.
Oh, good. Well, I still decide that.
I feel like that's something that I've heard too, is because stuff, of course, has slowed down over the years. I mean, after we moved out of that house, there was a bunch of weird stuff that kept happening for a while, but it hasn't happened in a long time. And so my parents will ask me every now and then, you know, anything weird happening at your new place or this and that? And I'll say no. And they'll say, well, maybe you blocked it out.
Why, they blame you?
No, no, they just, they're like, you're the one that has all like the worst, you know, experiences of it, and you saw it the most. So it must be like kind of your thing. You know what I mean?
They were like, it was that damn fishnet arms you had going on there, or leggings or whatever.
Fishnet arms.
I don't know. A shirt. There we go. Fishnet shirt.
She wasn't shopping at Justice. She was she was shopping at Hot Topic.
Yeah, they probably had the same ones that went over the fucking thumb and had fishnets. I don't know.
Yeah, I definitely had one of those. I did.
But she threw an extra couple of rips in that shit 'cause she's badass.
I mean, it wouldn't
she's
look
been through some
properly
shit.
worn in without that.
Yeah, Steve.
You had your spiked choker on. And they were like, yeah, it's probably her.
Yeah, she didn't know. Back in high school, it wasn't the spiked choker at the moment. It was one of those. I don't know if you've seen them, but they're really like gaudy metal necklaces. That's just like big round, like I'm trying not to say big round metal balls, but that's what they were. And there's just a big necklace of metal. I'm just going to say it, big round necklace of metal balls. And that's what was the rage back then. You had one of those. Yeah.
Here I am trying to picture it, but it's not, it's not happening for me.
Just Google big round balls.
Nope. I'm not gonna do
necklace.
Please don't.
I'm out.
10 out of 10 don't recommend.
So when did things start? Okay, so you move, right? And
Yes.
then what happened then? Like first day in your new place.
So after that, we moved to a different house in the same neighborhood, but it was in the older, already developed part of the neighborhood. So I moved. It was it's probably 2 miles away from the other side. This neighborhood was huge. And so in that house, that one really not a whole lot happened. And besides, I was still having nightmares from everything in the previous house. And so that place was pretty good. And then it wasn't until we moved into the next place, which was a townhouse and kind of an apartment complex, when stuff started getting kind of weird again. And this is back to my ex-boyfriend thing. It was interesting because in the house that we moved in directly after, he had moved to be with his family in New York City because they were moving back up there. And so he was gone most of the time while we were living in that house. And then when we moved into that townhouse, he had moved back and was hanging around more. And stuff started to happen there too. And actually, we had friends that were a paranormal investigating team that I had known from my brother since I was like a little kid, and we were still friends with them. And they actually came to that townhouse and did an investigation that was actually, it was crazier than anything I've seen on Ghost Hunters. They got a lot of really cool stuff on video. Shadow figures, noises. We had one of those, those flashlight experiments where you sit down a flashlight and you ask whatever spirit is to turn it on or turn it off.
Yeah.
And it would do it on command. Like we had all that on video.
You should have been like, also, can you leave?
Yes. Also, please, can you get out of here? Like it's really disruptive. But I think the scariest thing in that place is I was, I guess, like 17 at this point, and my ex and I were hanging out watching movies at night or whatever, and he started saying he was hearing voices, and so we muted the TV, and it sounded like slight whispering coming from somewhere. And so we ran upstairs real quick, and we were like, okay, we're gonna watch TV up in the room up here because it's not as open and less creepy. So we're watching it up there, and he's seeing something. And it's weird because this is why I kind of didn't believe him until I saw the look on his face, but he was scared and actually shaking. And I was like, hey, like, what's going on? Because I think I was probably about half asleep. I fell asleep a lot during movies back then, but he said that he saw a shadow figure point at me, and then it was just standing there pointing at me, and then it walked out and disappeared. So he said he saw that, and it majorly freaked him out. He really was shaking, and just that look like you've seen a ghost, for lack of a better term. But that happened in that apartment, and my parents would see it too. And especially when they saw the video that the paranormal team filmed, it was just like, wow, like it's here too. It was one of those things.
So it was pointing at you. I wonder, what do you gather from that?
I don't know. I have no idea. If I've tried to think about why it would be pointing at me. But I can't figure that out at all.
Maybe he just chose you, like mine.
Mine.
Or was saying to the kid, leave you alone or something.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
Let's go. Happy thoughts. He's like, leave her alone, dude. Like, you got to go.
I'm with her.
Well, yeah, my first thought was if it's like if we were to say it's the same figure that followed you from the other house, that that also yanked your brother out of your bed, could have just been like a spirit that like, no, she's mine. All male figures basically get away. Like, don't be anything near her, because then could be the same figure that told the brother to get out while you were looking in the back of that house. So could this just be something attached to you, staying away?
So less helpful, more like, yo, that's mine. That's my piece.
Yeah. I'm haunting her. No one else allowed near her.
I haven't seen a live girl in 100 years. This is great.
Yeah.
Did you guys know anybody that had passed?
No, my grandmother, who I was really, really close to, my mom's mom, had passed away when I was 10. So it was a couple years before we moved into that first house. And then my dad's mother passed away when I was like 3. But other than that, there was no notable, family passings or anybody close to us. We had tried to think about that too. But then we were also kind of like, man, we were all so scared. We like to think that if it's somebody who is like a family member or something, that you wouldn't feel so terrified or threatened.
Right.
But, who really knows, I guess. But I think in the end, we were starting to think that it was following me around, because after we moved out of the townhouse and moved into another apartment, we didn't see anything there. But my dad, of course, was still like he thought it was really cool, but scary. And so we had gotten a voice recorder, and we would leave it running sometimes just to see, if we could get something just for fun. We were always watching Ghost Hunters or whatever. And we left it on all night in this apartment. My mom works nights because she's a nurse, so she works the night shift. And so you can hear my dad and I go to bed. No one else is in the house. And I was like maybe 10 or 15 minutes in, you can hear a man's voice, like clear as day, just kind of sigh. And like he was like relaxing. And I'm trying to remember exactly what he said, but it was something like about time is that's what he said. It's about time. As if like someone was waiting for us to go to bed so that, it could be out there or do whatever it wanted.
What the hell? No.
And so, it was clear as day. And it definitely wasn't my dad's voice, like trying to trick me or something. It was, neither of us knew what was going on with that. So that was pretty creepy. But other than that, we never saw anything, and no other creepiness happened at that place other than that.
Huh. Now, when these individual, entities presented themselves at different times, did you get like, how like you can get a different feel for different people? Did you get a different feel for their character as well? Or was it just too much of an emotional stressor?
For me, of course, it scared me every time, but like with the white figure, I wasn't scared. So I didn't feel like it was much of, I'm trying to think, it's not really much of like a protector type vibe, but it seemed more like, warm, I guess is what I should say. Maybe warm and friendly is kind of the vibe I got off of that. So I wasn't scared. And then the more, bigger shadow figure that was kind of formless, that one I would always be most scared of, because I got kind of an angry or a threatening vibe from it every time I would see it. And then the one that had more of a form and that would keep popping in and out like it didn't want to be seen, I think that one I wasn't really as scared of. I couldn't really get a vibe off of that, but it just kind of seemed like it almost acted like, a little kid when they're trying not to be seen, but they're trying to snoop on someone, but they don't want you to see them staring at you type of thing. It didn't seem like anything more than that.
More playful type of.
Yeah. Yeah. Playful and maybe a little shy, and, who knows, but that one didn't really scare me as much as the big formless one did. That one always scared everybody the most.
And when you were out of the house, but during the same time, did you guys ever get any weird shit happening? Like even just taking a walk?
No, nothing like that. Not that I know of. I mean, my dad would always make comments when he was out walking the dogs, especially my bulldog, because I had an English bulldog and a corgi, and he would be out walking them, and he would say that it would be any time of day, and they would just whip around as if like somebody like tried to grab them or was running up on them or something. And he always thought that was strange, but that's the only thing that I could think of.
Well, that is strange.
That fits that at all. Yeah. That's the only thing I can think of like that. He always said it was like, you go behind a dog and like pinch him on the back or something, or like grab their tail. That's what he said. It seemed like they would just turn around real quick as if somebody had just grabbed them.
Huh. That is so weird.
Did you ever try and mess with the Ouija board?
I didn't actually. That's one thing I didn't do. I didn't do that till after I moved out here. A friend of mine messed with one, but before then, I had never touched one at all.
Good, because Milton Bradley's some sick fucks.
Yeah, I mean, I think we had thought about it because to further the whole theory that it was attached to me personally is that when I moved out at 18 with my best friend, we lived in a really small, crappy apartment. Of course, it's our first one, but we were moving in and I had left with friends and my boyfriend at the time to grab like pizza or something while we were moving in. And she, for some reason, I mean, it seems weird. Like she was kind of in shock about it, or didn't really know what to think, but she was putting the stuff away in her room, which was on one side of the apartment and mine was on the other. And when we came back, she said, well, I was unpacking stuff, so I wasn't paying attention, but did one of you, like one of the guys, run in to grab something from your room, after you guys left? Did you forget something? And I said, no, why? And she said, well, I was in here and it looked like there was someone in your room. Like I saw somebody in your room out of the corner of my eye. And I was like, okay, that's kind of strange. And then we had moved out of that apartment because actually it was once we moved in for a while, it was so infested with mold in my closet that it was growing on my clothing just from being in there.
What? Oh my God.
# Florida. So we moved to a new place and it was the same sort of layout. And she swears that she saw a figure just pacing back and forth in my room when I was at work. And so I don't know how to explain that, but she seemed to be pretty honest and freaked out about it. So I have no reason not to believe her, I guess. But
so I wondered, that particular day, did anything weird happen to you? Had you been gone too long?
Yeah, no, nothing weird that I can think of. I mean, I'd be in these apartments and I would feel like someone was watching me, or I'd feel a little creeped out or something. But, when you've lived in like a crazy haunted house like that, sometimes I think you're just naturally a little bit more on guard or kind of freaked out about stuff like that happening again. So you can kind of, it's like watching a horror movie. You psych yourself out,
Oh, yeah.
So I couldn't really ever tell if it was because there was something still there or if I was just kind of psyching myself out because she had told me something and I was thinking about it or whatnot. But the only other thing that happened there was we had a cabinet door slam when some friends were over. And that's the only other thing that ever happened in that place.
It's still something. I mean, that
you always
doesn't
mention
naturally
something
happen.
like it's nothing. Like, it's the only thing, ghost and shit, whatever.
Yeah, I'm like, I guess I'm like, well, it's like one thing, at least it wasn't like every day. So I guess it seems a lot less weird.
I watched
to me,
I watched a movie, ate some popcorn with the ghosts. It's just like the one time though.
Yeah, it just happened one time. I mean,
Fuck is wrong with you?
come out of my closet.
She's so
into
desensitized at this point. She's like,
I
the screen
know.
could be sitting next to her and she'd be like, oh, that happened too. And then
Yeah, it's no big deal. Cthulhu came out of my closet once, but I didn't really think anything of it.
it was just once.
It was just one time, no big deal. Never happened again. So
Now this could be a giant reason why, but what is your favorite candy bar?
ooh, my favorite candy bar. I love candy so much. It's really hard for me to say. Let's see. If I'm thinking about it off the top of my head, I would have to say like a Milky Way bar.
I find that odd. So that's probably why.
That's why my taste in candy did it.
Yeah.
They were appalled.
Milky Ways are good, actually.
Steve, your favorite candy changes every day.
No, like a frozen like Milky Way is really good.
Yeah.
Well, you have to put a little more work into it, but it's good.
You have to put a little more work.
It's worth it.
You know,
all the hard work pays off.
Yeah.
As opposed to just biting into a Kit Kat or a Smartie. Like, what?
Right. No, fuck that. Smarties, just who wants that shit?
Nobody, but.
Oh yeah, except for my husband. It's like his favorite. He loves those things.
Huh.
You must
Smarties.
like soury stuff then, yeah.
Smarties are just Tums for kids.
Getting you used to the Tums.
Yeah.
So he's got poor choice in candy too, huh? Match made in heaven.
Clearly.
Has
We can agree on that one.
has he noticed anything weird about you? In
He
general?
means that in the nicest way.
Does he know this thing is weird? Yeah. He does. I've told him before. I've told him all the stories. I know it's especially like he's the same as me. Like he doesn't believe in, a lot of the supernatural stuff. And so he was just kind of like, oh yeah, like, maybe we don't really talk about it that much. It's just like something that happened to me that's super weird and we don't know why. I think he's being nice sometimes, not being like, yeah, you're all crazy, but he just doesn't want to say it. But yeah, he knows it happened. And I guess his whole family knows now too, because my parents went over to my in-laws once. We were having Thanksgiving and they decided that it was like a good time to bring up my like weird ghost stories from my childhood and just asked me to tell the entire family. And I'm like, great, that's a good intro for the whole family. I think I'm crazy. So that's good. Just start off there.
Time when you're all together.
I guess so, but I was a little bit mortified. But you know what? They still like me, so I guess it's okay.
So has your stepdaughter ever saw anything?
No, not that I know of anyway. I mean, I've told her this story and it always kind of freaks her out a little bit. And she'll be like, oh, is your new apartment haunted? And I'm like, no, it's not. It's fine. I don't want to freak her out. But she definitely believes in that type stuff, but she's never seen anything weird.
Well, that's good. Maybe it's all behind you.
Yeah. I mean, I'd like to think so. Sometimes you're kind of like, when you're into that stuff and you watch Ghost Hunters and all this, and you're kind of like, man, like if it's not scary and happening all the time, it's like kind of cool, And so sometimes I'm like, man, it would be kind of exciting if something weird happened. And then I'm like, oh, I don't know. I don't want to put that on myself.
It's exciting for me when it's everybody else.
Yeah, like I'd be totally cool with like, going ghost hunting somewhere and seeing some like weird shit. That would be fun. But I don't want it in my house anymore. I think I'm good on that.
Yeah, I would not think that was fun. I'd be terrified. Just going to Eastern State Penitentiary scares the shit out of me.
Oh man, I've definitely wanted to go there before. I never got the chance.
I've never been. It's pretty scary. I'm just saying.
Yeah, it looks pretty scary.
Unless you're my husband and he just like puts his hands in his pockets and rolls up and asks the people questions and shit. He's like, so how much do you guys make?
So nonchalant.
Yeah, he's just like, they're trying to terrify him and he's like asking stupid questions.
She means when we went there during like Halloween.
Yeah. Not for anything else. We went there for Halloween.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Still like to go back just for a daytime trip to see it.
Yeah, that would be really cool. I mean, I feel like there are some places out here in Washington, but since I grew up on the East Coast, I know more about the kind of creepy places over there. Like the Allegheny Hospital and whatnot in Pennsylvania. But out here, there's not a whole lot of that. I know there's one abandoned old mental hospital somewhere out here that people go to and go inside, but they don't do tours or anything like that. So the only thing I've been to out here that was supposedly haunted is the place where my husband and I got married. And so I was kind of hoping something weird would happen there, but it didn't.
You just wanted a ghost to ruin the wedding?
I was like, man, we're like in this awesome room. Like maybe some like light will go off or something will move. And I'll be like super cool, like wedding story. And then no, nothing happened.
Wedding cake just gets thrown across the room.
Yeah. My ghost that's been attached to me for years is like, how dare you?
Takes you away.
Yeah. Minister was like, does anyone object? The ghost is just yelling into the void.
I do.
Something goes flying. Something comes in over the radio and says something weird.
That's terrible.
Yeah, that place was on what was it, Ghost Adventures? I always call them Ghost Bros because they're
Ghost
ridiculous.
Bros.
No, isn't there a Ghost Bros?
I don't know, but there should be.
I thought there was something like that, like 3 boys.
I think I think you're right. There's like a show about like actually about two brothers that are like paranormal investigators or something. I'm pretty
Oh,
sure.
I thought it was like three. Like three.
Um,
Except the
Maybe
two.
like 30s. They're in their 30s or I don't know, maybe younger. Maybe even their 20s, but they're young.
okay, but because since I have my computer right here in front of me, I just Googled Ghost Bros and you're totally right. There's a show called Ghost Brothers
Okay.
and there's three of them.
Yeah. I haven't seen it too often, but I've seen it. And they get like really into it too. It's pretty funny.
Oh, I mean, I hope
Yeah.
so. It's fucking TV.
Well, sometimes they yell at the ghosts. I hate that.
That's annoying.
Be
Yeah.
kind. Be kind.
The Ghost Adventure show. I mean, I always watch it, but I call them Ghost Bros because they're like grown frat boys, you know.
Yeah.
Like they're pretty douchey and like really really dramatic. Like this is a place where 5 people burned to death, and there's probably a demon in the basement, and it's gonna come and take us all to hell. You know, every episode is like that. I swear.
And within the 59 minutes that we're airing this show, 4 things are going to happen.
Right, exactly 4 things that we totally haven't planned.
All right before a commercial break.
You could say it didn't happen, but we saw it. We didn't catch it on camera or anything.
But it was there. I'm telling you, like you saw how scared we were. It's like they see something and then they scream and just start running away.
Yeah. It's so stupid. I'm so over those shows anymore.
I mean, we had a guest, Brian Byers, and he's in Georgia, and he had the little video that the chair moving.
Yeah.
And he claims that, like, you know, he has no reason to fake it. It's like it fucking moved.
Yeah, I believe him. I truly do believe Brian.
Yeah, because he's not like an investigator. He actually works for a
news. He works for Good Morning Savannah or something.
Yeah,
like that.
some radio / like actual news like channel, and then they send him off to do like random shit, I guess.
Yeah, he's a producer, and he also is like one of the anchors, I guess.
Yeah, no, I see the video. I mean, as far as I can tell, it looks real. What do I know?
Pretty legit.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it did definitely look legit. And then did he even notice it at first? He heard it, and I don't know that he knew.
He didn't know the chair until they saw the video.
Yeah.
He just heard the sound.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that's creepy.
Yeah, I mean, it's. I mean, just gotta believe, I guess. People, it's hard to, unless you were there, you're not gonna fucking know.
Right. Yeah, I know. I mean, I tell people all the time this type of thing, like close friends, of course, when we talk about it. And, it's like everyone says, oh, that's really scary. But I don't know how many people actually believe that it really happened. Is this just like some story or?
Oh, yeah. I'm under the impression you're full of shit.
Right. I know. And I would be too. But I'm making this whole thing up. But yeah, I mean, I get that. But I always just tell people, I'm like, man, I had actual nightmares about that house probably up until a couple of years ago, honestly. So I'm like, that stuff really did happen, and it really scared the shit out of me, and still does when I talk about it.
I mean, you might have a nightmare tonight now. I apologize for that. In the future.
It's okay. I think I've moved past it. I think it's okay.
Let me know tomorrow.
I sure will. I'll check in and be like, yeah, just sweet dreams.
Yeah, everything's okay. Thanks, asshole.
I know. Wouldn't it be great if like tonight a bunch of weird shit started happening in my house because I'm talking about it?
I don't know. Put a video recorder. We need to see that.
Great for who?
Yeah.
Sarcasm. Yeah. Great for nobody.
I mean, for me, I'd love to know.
Yeah. Have you on again? Be like, so what's happening now?
Yeah.
Well, I decided to go buy that Ouija board you were talking about. Give it a try in the new house, new apartment, I mean.
Yeah, why is there no ever like good Ouija board story? Like, oh, my fucking grandma came through. It's like, no, like this like devil came through and like wants to kill me.
Yeah, no, I don't know, because it's not so much, I think, the Ouija board itself. It's what you're trying to pull through. Really.
Yeah, but I just told you they're looking for the grandma, and instead, like, the murderer came through.
Well, because grandma moved on. If she was a good person, maybe. I don't know how that works.
I don't know. I don't fuck with those things, just in case.
Yeah. It's better just to leave it, I guess. I don't know. I'm one of those people that's like, oh, I've had all this like fucked up shit happen, but I'm still going to fuck with the Ouija board.
Just to fuck with the Ouija board, no less. She's not even just playing. This is why this stuff happens to her.
It's true. I'm just way too involved.
She's like, is anyone out there? It goes to no. She's like, I don't believe you. Yeah. Clearly lying to me. Stop fucking with me.
Ghost says no.
That'd be me. I'd be like, watch this, guys. Puts it to no. Like me as the ghost, mind you. And just be like, wow, they really thought no. That's weird. Kind of thought I was lying.
Well, then that would be the end of the game, wouldn't it?
No, because how would go to no? Come on.
Yeah, that's true.
I imagine if I was a ghost, I'd be really sick and tired of people trying to get me to talk to them all the time and get me on camera. I'd feel like I'm on like Animal Planet or something. Like, people are always trying to catch me on film and ask me weird questions. And it's like, man, I already died once. I'm just like over everything. Can you just like give me a break here?
Yeah, but if you are, and if you have to think about it like this, like that one particular energy, why is it trying to come into this energy, this like dimension or what have you? It's got to be stuck or, I don't know, lonely. I'd imagine it would want to talk to somebody.
Unless the energy's there, but your soul moved on.
Well, yeah,
Or it's in it.
That's the thing.
Or it didn't.
Who
Yeah,
knows, man?
I mean, that's very sad if you think about ghosts, people just being stuck somewhere by themselves and being totally lonely. It's like,
doing the
Maybe like
same
a
shit all the
trauma
time.
in death, like could be like, what if they died like in battle and then they're just consistently reliving that because of the trauma? They can't find their way
Like
out.
Gettysburg style.
Yeah, something like that. That'd be traumatic.
Yeah. Yeah, imagine like getting shot with one of those like shitty solid balls. And then, getting your arm fucking cut off because that's the only way they could have fixed it back then. Like, I don't know what to do, man. I'm just going to chop your whole shit off and then hope it heals. And you might just die now.
Ugh. I hated being there. Ugh. Let's go back.
yeah, yeah. No, I was going to say like kind of with that, and I don't know anything about this guy really. Like, I don't know if this is true, but my dad would talk about this guy named Edgar Casey. Have you guys heard of him?
Yeah, the sleeping prophet.
Yeah, and so he would always bring up, I don't know why he would bring him up or who in the family used to talk about him, but my dad said that he was told or had read that Edgar Casey always talked about spirits and said that he thought if someone died, abruptly or unexpectedly, or it happened just really fast or something, that like it's like they don't realize they're dead yet or something, like they don't know what happened. So they just kind of are stuck wandering around because they're not accepting that they died or, don't really, they're like, what the hell happened,
Oh, that's
So
interesting.
I guess it's one theory, I guess. I've never really looked him up to see what he actually believes about that or not, or who he is, but I just know
he's fascinating. So fascinating. In fact, he predicted so many things that have actually come true that I don't deny that he's had some kind of... He also used to heal people medicinally. Just when he would sleep, his wife would write down what he was saying. People would go to him initially to be healed.
Why don't you write down what I say?
Because you say weird shit.
The fuck?
Like, soaring for my fingies.
Yeah, she claims I said that one time.
You did.
I also said penis pillows, allegedly.
Yes, that's true.
I don't know in reference to, but
Nobody knows.
but I need one of those pillows. I'm just saying.
I know my husband has said some pretty like you can't even put together a coherent sentence. It's just a bunch of weird words together, and you're like, what is he even talking about? I think one time he had played too much Fallout and was talking about his armor or something like that in his sleep, and I'm like, wait, what?
You should fuck with him and like get him like plastic armor, like put it on him when he's talking like that. He wakes up, oh shit. It did come true.
It was real. Yeah, and he never remembers it, but there's been a couple times that I've actually been able to like have some weird half conversation with him when he's sleep talking. I don't know if that's happened to you, Danielle, but that type of thing is pretty funny when it happens. I wish I had written some of that stuff down.
She claims.
Oh yeah,
She
it's
claims
like he's
she's like
looking at me and
Yeah.
he's talking, but he doesn't. There's no sense being made. Like
Yeah.
he'll lay on the couch and he falls asleep on the couch religiously when we're watching TV. So I'll be like, okay, it's time to come to bed. It's like 12 o'clock. Let's go to bed. And he'd be like, you go to bed. So, that's just his humor.
Excuse me?
Right. That's just his humor. He goes, I can't move. But he means it. He can't move.
no, that one time I couldn't fucking move. I actually remember saying that. I just couldn't move.
Yeah. It's not one time. It's a lot of time.
Yeah. I don't remember like seeing you, but I remember like I couldn't fucking move.
Oh, that's weird because your eyes were open.
Like some weird sleep paralysis.
Yeah, I just couldn't fucking move.
Stuff.
Yeah, but I thought about that because I've had sleep paralysis before, but I don't think you could move your lips or anything else.
Maybe I was like,
Yeah, I certainly can't when I have that happen.
No, it doesn't work.
Yeah, no, it's just not like that.
Yeah, guess not. Well, Natalie, why don't you ask a question for the audience to answer? No guarantees. Most likely not going to get answered, but throw it out there.
Wow, you're so.
Oh, a question, man! I wish I had some time for this one. Some question.
I know, I'm throwing you right in the
what
hot
do you
seat.
think?
It could be anything. You can ask everyone else what their favorite fucking candy bar is. I don't care.
Oh, gosh, this is hard for me. Favorite candy bar? I'm gonna go with, because I'm a bartender. What is the weirdest experience you've had in a bar?
Ooh, I like that a lot.
Yeah, I love good bar stories, and since bartenders mostly been out of work, especially because I work at like a nightclub, I'm missing these weird stories that I used to have every night. So I need some more weird, funny bar stories. Drunk people are hilarious.
Yeah, I'm not. Now I'm thinking about it. You must hear some of the most random shit. Who hates who? Doesn't hates their spouse or work or all this like crazy shit.
Well, they're like therapists too, right? I mean, in theory.
Yeah, I mean, like I at a restaurant I worked at, it was kind of like that. But since I am mostly at like a high volume like dance club, it's usually so packed where you're just like slinging drinks, and like as soon as you get your drink, you're like, pay me, get the fuck out, next person. But the stuff that some people. Sorry, what did you say?
I say you must get great stories.
Oh yes, there's so many. I've contemplated before, like putting a GoPro on just to rewatch the stupid stuff that I see and hear all night long. I mean, I love the customers and I love the place that I worked and everyone's great, but you just hear the weirdest shit and you're just like, wow, I really hope that I don't sound like this or look like this when I'm out drinking, It's like, I'll drink at home from now on.
Well, Natalie, we appreciate the talk. And as always, you guys can find us at thebeerlatteshow.com and the Beer Latte Show on Instagram and Facebook, and Beer Latte on Twitter. We'll see you guys next week.
This drip all on my body, soaking wet the sunny. Looking